brand new tutorial of my channel. And today I'm gonna explain you about coroutines. And in this tutorial I'm gonna explain you about the fundamentals, including also the implementation of obviously. And yeah, and also giving you some little tricks and also the best practices. And yeah, okay, before going to understand about what are coroutines, I would like to explain you about some fundamental concept that we have to understand in the app. Okay, like as you guys know that every application they run in the main thread. Okay, so let's try to understand what are these main thread. Okay, let me go to the code. I have this main function, so let me try to understand every application how they run in the main thread. So I will try to print a thread. The current my current function is executing in this thread, so I would like to print that thread. Thread is thread current thread dot name. Okay, I'm printing, simply printing the name of the thread that my main function is executing. Okay, so let's check that. Okay, as you can see, my current thread is main thread, as I told you before. So every application they run in the main thread, and a lot of in the application we have a lot of small operations like interaction, bottom click, UI interactions, and many more, the simple operations, and these operations are happened in the main thread. Okay, so, and the interesting thing is that your application not only consists of simple operations, but they also consist of many um, operations, like which are long running operations, like internet connection, like if your application is connecting to the internet, file upload, downloading, okay, loading image, database queries, if your application is logging in with a username, and with the username is querying to the database to get all the required information based on this username, right? So like so those are the concepts. So there are also long running operations, so you cannot do the long running operation in your this main thread, otherwise it's gonna cancel, right? I mean, like, it's gonna crash, your application is gonna crash. So how do we do that long running operations? We simply create a thread to do this operation, and simply we create the thread here, like load operation. So for download we create another thread. Okay, let me create this this thread, and let me print the name of this thread. And also we can create another thread for or another long running operation, that is uploading operation, uploading, and I'm simply printing the name of the thread. So let's execute and let's see. Uh, okay, when we create a new thread, what will happen? What is the name of the new thread? Okay, if you see here, downloading thread is okay, I would like to uh, make a new line, because it's printing in the same line. So just to understand this much better, as you can see, I'm downloading in thread 2 and I'm uploading in thread 3. That is this thread is creating completely a new background thread. Okay, so this is a ground thread. Okay, and even this thread, that every thread we create is a background thread, right? So the concept is like, now for every long running operation we create a new thread. Okay, but this is not good, because the more the thread you create, the more memory is gonna consume. So at the end, if you are creating a lot of threads, then it's gonna create a exception which is called out of memory exception, and your application is gonna crash. So this is not good, right? So because our memory is very limited in our applications, right? Actually also the phone memory is limited. So that is the main reason why there is a coroutine, because coroutine is coming to um, avoid this situation. I mean, it's gonna help you in these situations. Okay, so this is coroutines. What are coroutines? So coroutines are basically the core mechanism that we are using to handle this long running and asynchronous code. So what is asynchronous code? Asynchronous codes are codes which are running in parallel, but the timing of execution is not dependent with each other. So task 1 can be at the beginning, and task B can execute it at any time, point of time, as you can see here, and task C can also come and execute at any point of time, right? So this is called asynchronous code. Okay, because which are like, for example, the downloading operation is not related with uploading operation, because you can download a file which is 1000 gigabyte of data, whereas you can upload only 1 megabyte of data. So that means uploading is gonna finish much faster than downloading, right? So that's why they are asynchronous tasks. Long running operations are always asynchronous. So in for this way, um, coroutines are come to the help, in the sense like coroutines are here to help you to do asynchronous programming. Okay, and it's also the best practice or best way to do asynchronous programming, um, uh, because coroutines are the facts about coroutines are they are very lightweight, because they are gonna just take the they are gonna consume less memory, because they are gonna every coroutine you can create being executed just only in the one thread, and it's gonna consume the memory of only one thread. Okay, one background thread. So no need to worry about the problem of memory issue, and they run in parallel and wait for each other to finish and also communicate with each other. So that's why it's also good. And the most important concept that we have to understand is coroutines are not threads. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the implementation. How do we implement this coroutine? Okay, I'm gonna implement the coroutine here. So the first thing is I would suggest you to implement the library. Okay, coroutine is a library, okay, which is created by JetBrains, and we have to implement the library. I'm using the version 1.3.9, so you can implement the latest version of library. Just go to the build Gradle, just implement those lines, and also add your extension with the version name, and that's it, and sync the project. And finally, okay, let's go come and implement the coroutine. So how do we implement coroutine? The easiest way to implement coroutine is by using run blocking. Okay, and as you can see, it's creating a coroutine scope. So, and it's gonna create a coroutine. Okay, and also let's create another run blocking to create another coroutine scope, which means it's creating a coroutine. And let's try to print now the name of the thread, okay, in which it is running, so to see the difference. Cool, if you see here, you are downloading also in the main thread, and you are uploading also in the main thread. Okay, so that's really cool. Just suppose that you are doing a long running task here. For the moment I'm just printing, but here you can create a long running task here. Okay, like you can add a suspend function. You can create a function, sorry, um, long running task. Okay, okay, you can create a suspend function. Sorry, actually the suspend must be in the beginning. Okay, a suspend function is a long running function, and you can suspend the function, for example, like delay. You can delay it for 2 seconds. Okay, actually delay is a suspend function. If you see here, it's gonna delay for the time that you pass, that is in milliseconds, 2000, that is 2 seconds. Okay, and what is this suspend function? It's very important, the suspend function. Okay, let's understand what suspend function. Suspend function is are the functions which are starting from the keyword suspend, right? And actually suspend function, okay, uh, are the function which are only allowed to call from another suspending function or inside a coroutine. Okay, so and that's it. Like, you can just call the suspend function from inside the coroutine. You cannot call the suspend function, you cannot call the running task here from outside, because it's gonna give a error. If you run this, it's gonna give a error saying that suspend function long running task cannot be called from outside coroutine, right? So actually you can think suspend function as a very long running task. Okay, and now I told you this is a coroutine, and it's doing a long running task, which is downloading, and is also doing a long running task, okay, which is uploading. And now you, if you run this in coroutine, which is actually executing in the main thread, I mean, like, without like having a giving a problem of memory. If you see here, you are downloading, you are uploading, right? And then you finally finish. Okay, so that's it. That's the basic concept of coroutine. Okay, and actually there are different kind of coroutine scope. I mean, like, we have this run blocking, which is one of the coroutine scope. We can also have actually a coroutine scope. We can also have okay, I'm gonna explain you now soon. Okay, coroutine facts. Okay, we are done with so there is also, let's talk about the global scope. What is global scope? Global scope are used to launch top level coroutine which are operating on the whole application, okay, lifetime, and they are not cancelled prematurely. And it is a singleton scope that returns completely empty coroutine context. Since there are no jobs associated with it, you cannot cancel it, so the life cycle is basically forever. So it's usually discouraged to use global scope. So actually it's usually discouraged to use global scope because as you can see, since there's no job associated with it, you cannot cancel it. So it is life cycle is basically forever. Okay, so don't try to use global scope, but we can also create a global scope here. Okay, we can create a global scope. Okay, okay, let's see that if we can really at this point we are loading image thread. Okay, let's see that if it's running well. As you can see, this is another way of implementing another kind of scope, that is a global scope, where I'm launching in a dispatcher which is unconfined. So actually dispatchers are something which will define you in which thread, okay, you are actually running this coroutine. So actually I am using this unconfined thread. You can also have different possibility of dispatchers, like I can have run in the main thread or default thread or IO thread or unconfined thread. So dispatchers are something like a kind of it's giving you the idea that coroutine in which to determine which thread are used for coroutine execution. Okay, so if I use main thread, then it's gonna obviously create a problem. So it's better to use unconfined thread in this situation, because I'm in the main thread right now. Okay, and that's it. So we have also global scope. We can also create a co-routing scope, okay, with dispatchers unconfined, plus we can also create a job like supervisor job, and yeah, we can create another long running task. Okay, now which is maybe network connection, right? So yeah, as you can see right now, I'm creating a lot of coroutines, and okay, it didn't like this context. Okay, okay, two minutes context, coroutine context. Okay, yeah, yeah, because I missed something here, that is missed the launch. I didn't launch it, that's the point. So as you can see here, downloading, loading image, network connection, and blah blah blah. So I'm doing a lot of long running task here in the main thread, right, without having any issue of memory problem and without the application crashing and stuff like that. So coroutine, it's really cool, as you can see in the example, right, that I'm demonstrating right now. So right now, okay, let's try to understand some more concepts, and some more interesting concepts are, okay, CoroutineScope, as I was telling you about, is it controls the lifetime of a coroutine. When you cancel the scope, all the coroutines that are running at the scopes get cancelled, so that's good. It is not like the global scope that has a life cycle forever. So since it's fairly common to start a long running task from a view model, you often find yourself creating and running a coroutine from inside view model. So let's go and actually, the uh, idea is also like we create the coroutine from view model. So let's create a view model and let's try to understand how okay, sorry, actually we are creating a class view model, which is actually implementing view model. Okay, and yeah, let's create a scope which is CoroutineScope, which is using dispatchers dot main, and which is also having a supervisor job. Okay, and yeah, long running task. Yeah, whenever we in the view model we are doing a long running task, we can use our scope to launch and do this long running task, right? And that's the idea. So like, let's delay for 1 second and perform some task like print ln, right? So that's the idea, guys. And actually also you can use view model scope. Actually there is also another different kind of okay, let's create a view model task, and which is using a view model scope, and which is launching. Yeah, that's a cool thing, right? You can also use another different kind of scope, that is view model scope. You don't need to create a scope like this instantiated, it's much more better here. And as you can see here, we there is a lot of boilerplates, so we avoid the boilerplates like this one, using simply a view model scope. Whenever we are using we are doing a long running task in a view model, we use a view model scope, and that's the idea, right? It provides a CoroutineScope associated with each view model that is configured and managed automatically for you. Okay, so that's cool. So whenever you use a view model and you need to create a long running task in a view model, then use a ViewModelScope, okay, instead of any other scope. So this is cool. Yeah, two important aspects of ViewModelScope: default behavior. So ViewModelScope is tied to a view model such that the view model is cleaned up basically when onCleared is called. Okay, cool. As you can see, we have to override the method onCleared. Yeah, that's cool. So if you have, like, for example, var job, like supervisor job, then you can come and job.clear, or you can cancel that, right? Cool, you can cancel the job here, okay, on clear. So that's cool. And second, the scope, this helps you to avoid the waste of memory leak, okay, waste of work and memory leak. Second, the scope use the dispatcher's main and coroutine dispatcher. As mentioned, the coroutine dispatcher controls the thread and coroutine code runs on. Dispatcher main is the standard dispatcher that puts the coroutine on UI and main thread. Now this makes default of your coroutine. Okay, so that's really cool about view model because it's associated, um, like view model scope is associated with the view model. So and it's also handling the life cycle by itself. So that's really cool. And run blocking, we already discussed about it. It creates a coroutine that blocks the current thread. And also we have another different kind of scope, like with context. uh, okay, we can also try that. Okay, we can try it here in the view model. Okay, let's create a function with a context task, and we are using with context. Okay. So the actually the problem, like the this view with context is used in some special cases, like for example, let's create a view model scope, because I'm in the view model and my view model is uh, performing operation 1 with context. Okay, it's gonna do this task. Okay, let's suppose a function name task 1 is another function, and okay, let's make a suspend function because we can, and dispatchers.io. This time I'm using the dispatcher, I'm running in the IO thread. Okay, as you can see. Okay, we don't need the suspend function, so it's doing task 1. So let's create an operation 2 with context task 2, right? And I'm creating another function which is task 2, and yeah, it's doing here some special task 1, and it's also doing a special task 2, right? Just for the example. So just to make you understand, the concept of this with context is actually, as you can see, it's a suspend call, and actually what it is doing is it's performing this task, and it's waiting until this task is finished, then only it's going to operation 2. So it's like doing it's like doing a long running task but waiting until it finishes task 1 and then only it's going to task 2. Okay, so that is the main concept of with context. As you can see, since with context is a suspend call, that it won't go to the next line until it finishes. Okay, it's like a suspend call, like suspend function. Okay, so it's with context is a suspend and does not block the main thread. Okay, so that is also another idea. um, so we can do other task while live thread is busy in execution. So that was the concept of with context. And I guess I covered all the important concepts of coroutines. Okay, hope you guys like it and subscribe me and support me. And yeah, I will be coming with much amazing lectures in the upcoming videos. And thank you.